Sunday night, August the 8th, I think. Recap. Um, I didn't really feel like playing today. You know, like all morning, I didn't really feel like playing. Didn't like this all of a sudden. I did. You know, uh, my opponent texted me today. You want to play? Sure. Okay. Surprised me. I had some work to do, but I hadn't really heard back from the people that I needed to hear back from before I could work. So I was like, all right, fine, we'll go play. And I'm glad I did because it was fun. It was one of those rare occasions when I shot well and the guy I played didn't completely fall apart and fold up into a sobbing mass. He actually started out that way. Like he was giving up already. And I won like the first 5 games or something like that, pretty convincingly. But then he got better, you know, and that made the day fun. Because I don't go in there and play this guy to win. We're not playing for anything. Sure, I have an ego, but it's not like that. And I'm not in there playing to win. I'm in there playing him because he's got several more years, probably decades, of one pocket experience with me. He knows a hell of a lot more about one pocket than I do. And I'm hoping to learn something. And I got to. So, for the most part, I didn't pay a lot of attention to what, you know, my physically I was doing. Which I, you know, guess could be a good thing. Here's my cat. Right on cue, I missed. For the most part, the shots that I shot went in. But there were some that I had issues with, and we'll get to those. So I won the first probably about 5 games, like I said, very convincingly. You know, 8-0, 8-1, stuff like that, 8-1. I was concentrating very well today, and that was the main reason that I was shooting well, was because I was concentrating well. That may have tapered off for me a little bit as time went on. I don't think it really affected the way I was playing though. What probably affected me more than anything else would be those, you know, I'd miss a shot, and so the next time I had something similar or a similar difficulty, you know, I remember that and go, oh, you know, you're not in dead stroke, Dave, so try to not be an idiot. And that probably distracted me a little bit. But like I said, for the most part, I shot at the right shot and made it a two-way shot. That was a good shot. If there was any doubt, for the most part, I did good at that. Very few of my innings ended on a missed shot that wasn't already also a safety. Alright, so this table's playing tough, I guess. The shots that I had trouble with, they were all long distance shots, and they were all, well, there's a penalty. So like, we're playing, I need one ball, my opponent needs them both. I could just do something with that 8, get that out of there. Probably what I should have done, but I think every time I had a situation like this, I tried to just put the ball in, because that's all I needed. And I think every time I had a situation like this is a slight cut to my left, I would hit it straight in the red. Like that, just like that. I didn't do that on purpose, but that's what was happening. So just either not seeing these slight cuts at a distance as well as I wanted, or maybe because my bridge was a little bit weird because of the rail and stuff. So I either wasn't seeing it right or I wasn't hitting it right. Because I was pretty consistent about not cutting a ball like this. You see, even on that shot. So yeah, I got to work on that stuff. If I'm going to shoot it, I got to work on it. Now, the guy that I played today, he's very good at leaving me like here, leaving me on the rail. He's very good at that. But a lot of times I feel like he worries about that too much, because he'll miss a shot that he's going to make 95% of the time. He'll miss it because he's got a bunch of English on it, trying to leave the cue ball on the rail. That's just me. I think there are times when he should have just made the shot. So, yeah. So, like I said, I won the first 5 games. After that, we played for 6 hours. I was probably a 60-40 winner after those first 5 games. A lot of our games were kind of like nobody made any mistakes. You know, so something fucked up would happen and leave a dead kick or something like that. And the other one would make that and then run out or play safe, whatever. Very few of us had, or very few of our innings ended on a missed shot that we expected to make. And I've already talked about this kind of shot right here, that I definitely ended some innings on missing that kind of shot. Definitely. I think that was really my big thing that I just wanted to talk about in this recap, is that if it's a long distance, you know, if it was here, same angle, I'm never going to miss a shot unless I'm having a stroke in the middle of the shot. But put it back here, yeah, I can miss it. It's the distance, and maybe the rail being in my way a little bit. And yeah, I can definitely miss this shot as I proved today. Even now I might be getting, you know, zeroing in on that a little bit better. Goddamn time, I wish it would have happened today. There we go. Like I said, I didn't pay a lot of attention to what I was doing, like what physical style I was doing, or even the physical elements I was doing. But I did pay attention to everything that I was doing in the ready stage, up here getting in alignment and all that. I did pay attention to that kind of stuff. Because once I got down here into the set stage, a lot of times I felt like I was just cinching the ball. And I'm not saying that was wrong, I'm just saying that's what I felt like I was doing. The ball was going to go in, and then I would have another shot, and it would go in. See, I definitely I'm having an issue with that kind of a shot, the slight cuts. And I've known about it for a while. Yet, I'm still having trouble with them, so that means that I didn't know them as well as I thought, or I knew about the problem, but haven't taken it seriously. I should, because it just keeps happening. Now, another thing that's probably happening on a shot like this is subconsciously, I'm just shooting the ball parallel to the rail. Okay, there's a rail, it points towards the pocket. So yeah, I'll just shoot the 4 parallel to the rail, it's going to go in. No, it's not, it'll go in if it's over here, but if it's over here with this slight cut, I have no problem with it. I'll get it figured out. I don't have a lot to talk about for this recap because I didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. Those are some of the mistakes that I made. I was concentrating quite well, not doing anything too stupid. I did do one thing that was kind of stupid, but it worked out because I made a shot. Something like, gotta figure out what the balls are. Something about like this. I need 2. And that's my pocket. So I said, okay, I'll just bank the 4 and come around to the 80. And I just happened to hit it perfect. It was probably stupid to do that. That table in there is a lot slower than, so the cue ball didn't have nearly as much heat. Matter of fact, the cue ball barely made it down here. So it would have been stupid, because I don't know the 3-rail path that well. I was just kind of, going by feel on it, I guess. And it happened to work out. But I don't know that 3-rail cue ball path well enough that I shouldn't have been shooting. And I think if we'd been playing for something, I would not have been shooting it. I would have found something else. The problem with where I was sitting is I didn't know what else. I don't know what else there was. The shot that I did was only safe if I didn't scratch. Alright, so I think my recap is almost over with. I didn't say it was going to be much of a recap. Good thing, because it's not. I don't remember what I've made public and what I haven't as far as cues and stuff, or shafts and stuff. So, clearly still getting used to the Southwest. This is the shaft that has the number down here. It also has a slight taper to the ferrule because of the way it was repaired. I found out yesterday it just hits better. It hits better than the other shaft. So this is now my main shaft, even though it's, like I said, it's just got a slight taper. It hasn't been enough to affect play or even really distract me. And it's got a more solid hit. So live and learn. I went a week and a half or whatever with the other shaft thinking it would be better because it's a little bit heavier and because it's got a cylindrical ferrule. I had a lot of shots that I felt like the cue ball came up short. I didn't get as good of a hit as I'd hoped. I switched to this one, and now I don't have that problem anymore. So now this cue hits as good as my Scruggs. Doesn't hit as good as my Peach Hours, but nothing that I have shoots as good as my Peach Hours. And so that's it. Like I said, 5-0, and then maybe about 60-40 winner on the next 15-20 games we played. And it was a fun day, I think for both of us all the way around. It was fun. And that's been a little bit rare, because a lot of times it's been a blowout one way or the other. And so the other guy's not having any fun. But we both knew we were shooting well enough that we both felt like we were always still in the game. And that was, like I said, it was cool. It was rare, and I hope it happens more often because it was a fun day. Talk to you later. Yeah, I know I made a video telling myself not to make videos to remind myself of things. I've broken that rule at least once. I'm getting ready to break it again. Because even though I shot really well today, and even though I concentrated really well today, there was room for improvement on my shot making. And really, all I had to do was remember to hit the balls with some modicum of authority, especially in there because the table rolls off. The slow rolled shots would almost always, well, they rolled off a lot. I don't know if I want to say almost always, but they would do it. But I guess they'll hit shots softly. But with that, like I said, just the feeling of some authority might mean I'm shooting them a little bit harder, but not gobs harder. And that was a good draw stroke. You see that? It worked. So just hitting the shots and remembering that I'm not a 4-year-old girl. I'm in theory a grown man, and I ought to have a little bit, be able to hit the ball with a little bit of authority. This is not, it's not my first time shooting a ball. You know, I should know a little bit about what I'm doing, so I can hit it with some authority, and it helped my accuracy. Shooting shots slowly hurt my accuracy, both because I'm not as accurate shooting balls slowly. They're working on it, but I'm not there yet. And also because the table didn't like hitting balls slowly. The table liked to roll off, and I don't have the table mapped out as far as where the rolls are. I don't know of one for sure. Now one is, this is in there, this isn't here, okay? It's any ball going towards that pocket, assuming that's the foot of the table. Whether it's a bang or just shooting it straight in, it's going to roll to the middle of the table. It's going to get about a diamond away from the pocket, and then it's going to make a left turn. And luckily, that has been there for a long time. They've recovered the table a couple times, and that particular error is still there. So in theory, I should be able to remember it. But I didn't. I had a shot like this. I actually had ball in hand, and that's my pocket. This ball wasn't quite frozen. It was pretty close, but it wasn't quite frozen. The thing was that there were a couple of balls, they were like tied up for my opponent. That's his pocket. I could just shoot a stop shot, stop the cue ball, and it was a free shot. I think it was the last ball I needed, actually. Yeah, Maverick, I'm pretty sure it was. So all I had to do was that. That's all I had to do. But in there, the shot is not possible on that table at that speed. Being that close to the rail already, it didn't have any way to come in before the table made it rolled out. And what it did is it got about here and hit about there. It didn't go in. And so yeah, that's a reminder to myself about that table. And also just, I could have shot a shot like that. Shoot it with some authority. I don't know how to shoot a stop shot in theory. If I haven't learned a stop shot in the last 800 years, then maybe I could find a different hobby. But for some reason, a lot of times when I get, oh man, I'm gonna cinch this ball, especially when I'm trying to stop the cue ball, I see it as hit it slowly. There's no reason to hit this 14 at pocket speed. My opponent didn't have anything hanging in his pocket or anything like that. If I miss the shot, it's not the end of the world if I don't hang it in the pocket. It wasn't the end of the world in that situation. So there's really no reason to hit it at pocket speed. You also don't want to slam it. I can hit it with some authority and increase my odds of making it. My cat. Increase my odds of making it and not really be changing the outcome. I can't make the shot anymore. Now she's all over my feet. I'm going to make it this time just to prove that this is a possible shot when hit with authority. Both times I've failed to cut it. So it hits. Anyway, yeah, so reminder myself, hit the balls like you got a pair. And not a pair of earrings or a pair of ruby slippers or whatever. When possible, use some authority on the shots. Some shots, at least for me, I still feel like I have to really roll them, and I don't like doing that. I want to cut down on those kind of shots as much as I can. So that's it. Later.